The Minnesota Timberwolves,
man, this
13 seed.
This is a fun team to talk about.
You know, relax, man. You've talked enough. I don't want you to talk this segment.
River A. Smith.
Somebody in the comments one time was like, because I think we said during the show
I
Drew
talk
talks too much. Mm-hmm. And somebody was like, it's a podcast. He's supposed to.
That was a real dude right there. Thanks, bro.
But we have increments, man. It doesn't always go like that. So that comment
these are my boys right here. My new vibe.
What are we running right now? 3:30?
I like them.
3:30, yeah.
Yeah.
So Minnesota Timberwolves, they added Nathan Knight, Taurean Prince, Patrick Beverly.
That's how you started them all.
Subtractions, Ricky Rubio. And this team, man, Pat Bev, D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, Jalen McDaniels. Is Jaden or Jalen? One of the
Jalen is in Charlotte.
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels, who's the better McDaniel to me. Karl Anthony Towns in their bench, Taurean Prince, Malik Beasley, Naz Reid. And I think the other, like, outside of the main three off the bench, it's up for grabs. Vanderbilt, Jalen Noel, Bomero, McLaughlin. For the Timberwolves,
Solid.
Cat and D'Lo just have to stay healthy because when they're healthy, they're a 500 team.
Mm-hmm.
If they can stay healthy, this team to me is the surprise of the West. The Pelicans no more because
you were wrong about that.
Because of Zion. Well, no, I wasn't wrong because I retracted my statement. You know, I wasn't wrong. It's
D'Lo.
I'm only wrong once the season starts and I look wrong. But no, I retracted my statement. So you tried to get me, but you didn't. Too bad. Minnesota Timberwolves, I think they are going to be the surprise of the Western Conference. And I have the Timberwolves being the 5th seed in the Western Conference this year. With Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo.
What seed?
The 5th.
That's the ceiling, or that's where you have them?
That's where they will be.
The 5th seed?
Yes. Laugh all you want. It's gonna happen.
What the hell is wrong with you? Yo, bro, you gotta explain that. Like, you gotta break that down, bro. Go ahead.
I just look at the Western Conference and I say Minnesota's better than Portland. Fully healthy, they're better than Portland.
Nah.
They might be.
They're better than Portland.
Go.
Fully healthy, they're better than Portland. I think because Jamal Murray's out, they're just as good as Denver. I think they're better than that fake LA Clippers team out in the West over there with the Clippers. They're better than the Clippers. So if you have, and I think they're better than Memphis. So 1 through 4 is solidified. You got just the top 4 no order. Lakers, Utah,
Warriors.
Suns, Warriors.
Mavs.
Then 5 to 8. Yeah, I think Minnesota's better than Mavs. I think the talent is better than the Mavs. So I have Minnesota over Dallas. I have them over Portland. I have them over Memphis. I have them over the Clippers. If they stay healthy, Karl Anthony Towns, D'Lo, Anthony Edwards taking that second-year leap. He averaged 24 in the second half of the season. He's going to go berserk this year. Pat Bev is the glue guy for Minnesota. That was a great grab. And that power forward position right now is up for grabs, but Jared Vanderbilt is a really good defender. McDaniels is a solid defender. The Timberwolves will surprise some teams. And now that you have Malik Beasley coming off the bench who can average anywhere from 15 to 20 any single night.
Potential 6th man of the year candidate.
Yeah, and Naz Reid, who's not a slouch. I think Chris Finch is a good coach. Taurean Prince off the bench is not bad. I think the Timberwolves are going to surprise people. And Karl Anthony Towns is going to show everybody how good he is this year because he's been a slept-on guy for many years because they don't win. But this year is going to be the year where people say, Cat, he's top 20. 5th seed.
I like Minnesota. I think Minnesota's a really good team. I think they have a lot of talent. I thought their ceiling was a 7th or 8th seed. 8th seed, playing team. I thought they can get into the play-in and definitely can make some noise. I thought their floor was a lottery team. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe they're a 5th seed though in the NBA. I feel like there's too many
in the
teams.
West, not NBA.
Sorry, pardon me. Thank you for helping me. In the West, there's just too many teams in front of them. I just think with the experience and with the fact that this team is very much injured a lot, I don't even see them getting into the playoffs because of injuries. But nonetheless, we're just going to speak bearing any injuries. This team is talented. D'Lo, first of all, their guards are spectacular.
They are.
D'Lo, Edwards, Malik Beasley, they have a pretty – that's why when you was like, they have a pretty talented 3-man tandem in the guard spot. And then, of course, their front court with Cat, Naz Reid, Jamie McDaniels, who's still young. He's going to come into his own. Jared Vanderbilt, who's a really, really good defender. This is a strong team. Not to mention Pat Bev, bringing that mentality over from the Clippers. Minnesota to instill into these young guys.
Right.
They need a guy like that, a leader like that. Yep. And I think this is going to be huge for them. I do have them making the play-in. Fact. I believe they'll make the play-in. I think this team is good enough to make the play-in, bearing any major injuries. Nonetheless, 5 seed. Come on. You're acting unusual. Actually, this is usual for you because you just say crazy, bad, stupid takes.
Last year, if I would have said the Knicks would have been the 4th seed, what would you have said?
You listen. You were on a campaign saying, tank, Knicks, this.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the foresight to see something like that happen.
And then you flipped and then said Knicks are going to beat the Hawks. And then you became wrong again. So not only were you wrong that you weren't going to make the playoffs because you made the playoffs, and then you tried to flip on your Knicks and jump on their bandwagon, and then you lost. So you look dumb twice. Now listen, we're not talking about the Knicks. We're talking about Minnesota. And I think they are a really talented team from top to bottom. Their coaches still have to prove us to something. For sure. But nonetheless, I like this team. I think their ceiling is definitely an 8th seed in their floor lottery.
So you said...
Let them talk.
No. Go ahead. Because we're basically going to say a lot.
You said their ceiling is a playing team. You think they're going to be a playing team no matter what.
Yes.
But you're accounting for injuries happening to one of their main guys like D'Lo or Cat.
I think it's possible.
Okay, so if they're healthy...
I said bearing any injuries, I think they'll be a playing team.
If they're healthy, they can't be the 5th seed?
No, I think they'll be a playing.
So you don't think they can be better than Dallas, the Mavericks? Nah. They can't be better than the Clippers?
Hell no.
Why not?
Because they have Paul George, Marcus Morris, Ibaka Zubac, Serge Ibaka, and
all of those guys outside of PG aren't even better than D'Lo.
They might not be better than D'Lo.
They're not even better than Anthony Edwards.
But you don't need to be better than
all of those guys that you mentioned aren't better than D'Lo or Edwards.
Don't need to be.
But you're talking crazy on the Clippers. Like the Clippers with this basically same roster didn't just beat the.
They don't need to be better.
They need to do this for a whole season.
They need to fit. They need to fit with each other. That's all. They just need to fit.
I don't even know if outside of Reggie Jackson, any of those guys who named are better than Malik Beasley.
No, they probably won't, but they don't need to be. That's the thing.
They're a solid team.
So you're telling me it's PG, it's Cat, then it's 3 Timberwolves.
You can say that all you want, but at the end of the day, this team has yet to prove anything when they're together.
And
the Clippers have proved everything when they're together.
That's your problem. You are banking on the fact your whole analysis is on the fact that they haven't proved anything to me yet. I'm saying that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
they're gonna prove it to you.
What you're saying is ludicrous. What you're saying is, oh, this might happen. But what I'm saying is, I've seen it happen. I've seen the Clippers come together and go to the WCF without their best player. I've seen them come together and perform admirably. We haven't seen the Timberwolves even be healthy.
When's the last time we saw Paul George be the man on the team consensus 1A? He was the 8th seed and got bounced by LeBron.
He was the
last
what?
Year.
He was the what?
8th seed.
Oh, so he made it. Oh, okay, interesting.
But how about
in
last
the
year?
East?
But how about last year?
Last year he wasn't the 1A.
He was 1A. When Kawhi went out.
He was 1B. He was 1B.
Kawhi is there the entire year.
But then he goes out and he still manages to
pull
I'm saying,
when's the last time Paul George was the 1A and had to carry a load for a season?
In Indiana, for sure.
And he was an 8th seed.
You're going to just bring up one team, 1 year, right?
That Indiana roster is similar to this Clippers roster. It's not far off.
Nah, it is.
It's not far off.
This is what you're missing. Tyronn Lue is a top 5 coach in the NBA at this very moment.
Top 5? I can name 5 better.
According to
even if you name 5, he's at least top 10. Fact. Top 10, at least top 10 coach.
I think Chris Finch is going to be good.
This is the top 5 shooting team in the NBA from the 3-point line. Oh. This is a team coming off of a Western Conference Finals appearance where they lost their best guy in the second round and they still find a way to get it done. This is a team firing on all cylinders. A team that's played together, fought for each other, cried with each other, did all this together. Like, what are you talking about? Aside from the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are very talented, and I believe in them.
Okay, not talking about the Clippers, because we established you think they'll be better than Minnesota.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Okay. We'll see.
No doubt in my mind.
We'll see. I have some
doubts. And if they play in a series, oh my God, I would take the Clippers in 6.
I have some
Kawhi don't need to play. He don't need to play.
Well, the Timberwolves beat the Clippers in the regular season last year.
Who made the playoffs?
See, but that's tough actually, because once you start to think about it, who's guarding Karl Anthony Towns?
D'Lo is not that good in the playoffs.
The floor though.
He's had
off of one sample size.
One.
Well, okay. So what's the next? What are we gonna say then? We got to see, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so hold up.
Cat wasn't good in his first playoff series.
You think the Blazers are better than...
He went twice, though.
Do you think the Blazers are better than Minnesota?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh. Now I know where your mind stands at. So, Drew, go.
I mean, it's hard to follow up what you guys are saying because obviously I'm going to say a lot of the same things. It is dependent on health. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns have struggled with health. That being said, if they are healthy, I do see their ceiling being around the 6th to 7th range. This team is solid. Talent-wise, you add Anthony Edwards, who averaged 24 points after the All-Star break, with D'Lo, who obviously is one of the better scoring guards in the league. You match that with Karl-Anthony Towns, who's probably the best shooting big man in the NBA right now too.
Thanks.
And then Malik Beasley, obviously, if he can stay out of prison, that's a solid piece right there. They have a great core as is, but it is going to come down to coaching. It is going to come down to health. And given health, their floor could be a lottery team for sure. It's just what history has shown me. They won 23 games last season, mostly in part to D'Lo being hurt, missing some time. Karl-Anthony Towns missing some time with COVID. I don't think he had an actual injury last season. I think he missed a lot of time with COVID. But regardless of that, I do think this team overall has a good amount of talent. And do I think the 5th seed's a bit of a stretch? Yes. That's where they're going to firmly be, because then what's their ceiling then? The 3 seed?
No, their ceiling's the 5th seed, but I think they'll reach their ceiling.
But that's what I'm wondering. So I don't know if I could go that far. I think me saying the 6th or 7th is them actually 100% all healthy, no concern at all. They're clicking on all cylinders just because of the talent they have. 6th or 7th seed's not out of the realm of possibility. But given what they've shown me over the last few years, I can't trust that.
A lot was said between all you guys. You got him saying the 5th seed. You got you saying Portland's better than them. I think this is my dark horse to make the playoffs in the West. I think Joel bringing up the fact that they were 500 when their young big three was playing, I think that's a viable point. I think D'Angelo Russell is really flown under the radar, and I think he's probably has a case to be the most underrated player in the NBA.
Yep.
But with that being said, I mean, my ceiling for this team, I think they can make the 7th seed. My floor is I think they can make the 11th seed. I don't think they're going to be flat out bad, given if they're all healthy. Now, when we make predictions, nobody predicts with all injuries. We're predicting what they're going to be when they're healthy. And when they're healthy, what their record says is they're a 500 team. They have D'Lo.
Flat, right?
500 team player.
Oh.
They have D'Lo. They have Cat.
Oh.
They have Anthony Edwards.
I don't know if that's a right stat, but
In the West, being 500 flat for a team that young is really good.
The whole young thing is
Karl-Anthony Towns is getting to the point where he's not
we gotta
young
stop
anymore.
with it. Him and D'Lo been here for a minute, bro.
Huh?
Him and D'Lo have been here, bro. That young, we gonna stop that.
I mean, look, but the thing that could plague this team is obviously having a rookie head coach. You never know. You don't know what he's going to bring to the table as a head coach. But, I mean, having Malik Beasley off your bench is not bad. I mean, that's a 18 points per game score. I don't think he's going to get that off the bench, but I think he could be a 6th man of the year candidate. I mean, like I said, I think Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the 5 best centers in the league. I think D'Angelo Russell is a very underrated player, and I think Anthony Edwards is primed for a sophomore breakout. And I think if those 3 are all meshed together, it's not out of the possibility that this team can make the 7th seed. But then again, when we do predictions and everything, everybody's going to throw out but if they don't stay healthy. If they don't stay healthy, they won't make it. This is me judging them off their young, big core. They're big 3. They're young core 3 players. So, I mean,
they're 12-9 when Cat and D'Lo play.
See, that's not about 500. That's actually
better.
That's actually pretty good. So, I mean,
That's all right.
I don't know how you could see that.
That's all right.
I don't know how you can see that and think that this team doesn't have a shot. And I'm kind of all in on Joel. I think that this team at least has a better roster as constructed with their big 3 and their players playing is better than Portland in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not a terrible take. I don't know about them being the 5th seed. I think that's kind of like not ludicrous, but I think you're really high on them. I'm high on them, but I'm not high to that standard, because you still have to realize this is going to be a lot of their first time playing in the playoffs or a lot of people's second time playing in the playoffs. So, like I said, I like the direction that this team is going in. I want this young big 3 to stay together. I think this is a very talented core. I think they have the right bench pieces. Now it's just time to see if their head coach, can really be a good coach. But other than that, I think their ceiling is the 7th seed, and I think their floor is just missing the play-in.
Yeah, you said it all. I think we all said it all.
Yeah.
I think we'll see what happens, and we'll see who's left standing on the mantle.
It definitely won't be you.
It's going to be me.
The addition of Patrick Beverley, not as a player, but as a
Culturally.
leader, I think that's pretty big
Respect
too.
that man.
I said that.
I think that's pretty big.
I just think
Respect
after this
that
thing, you guys. I think we look at talent too much as an end all be all. Because if it was just about, I have the most talented team, a lot of these talented teams would make the playoffs.
Well, we've seen that with that talent, this team was 12.
I don't think we've seen
now,
a
that's,
small
that's,
sample
that's
size.
a very
I don't
small
think
sample
we've
size.
seen a team in recent history with this amount of talent not live up to their potential. We haven't seen
They
a
just
team.
did it last year.
Ooh,
They were
This same
hurt.
team.
They were
They were
hurt.
hurt.
They won 23
That's
games.
every
They were
year
all
for
hurt
them,
though.
yo.
I agree with you.
But
and I
we're
said
making
that.
these predictions just based on the fact that they're healthy.
And
That's
this is why I say with these teams, like, you love to bring up the Clippers, for example. One guy gets hurt and they have another guy to step in and take that role.
So if Paul George gets hurt, who's stepping in?
Well, that's a star player.
and what did the Timberwolves have? Who did they have injured?
Malik Beasley
Bro,
went to jail and they couldn't do a damn
Carl
thing.
Anthony-
Cat
What are
and
you
D'Lo
saying?
were
Carl
hurt,
Anthony
bro.
Towns'
But I'm
mom
saying,
passed away.
Malik Beasley
Star
if
players.
Malik Beasley goes down, they're
Carl
screwed.
Anthony Towns' mom's passed away, bro. And D'Angelo Russell missed time, bro. They weren't healthy. So obviously, if you missing the first and second best player, or they're
Not
not
only
playing
his
all
mom,
together.
a lot of people in his family.
Yeah, I
passed
know.
away from
Of
that.
course, their record's going to be trash.
You're saying if you miss the first, if Cat goes down, obviously that's a
No, but
that's a big part.
But
Kawhi went down and they were
was,
fine.
But it was more than that, though. It was
Kawhi
Cat
went down
and
and they were
D'Lo.
fine,
That's their
though. That's my
1-2
point.
punch.
Kawhi went down and they were fine though.
But
They
they
were
still had a
12 and
good
9
team,
with
though.
Cat.
That's my point though.
What do you mean? I'm arguing.
team
You're,
is-
you're
this
saying
team-
injuries, but if Paul George gets hurt, we're saying the same thing about the Clippers.
But I'm saying they lost. You guys have stated that you think Minnesota is better.
I didn't say they're better. I said they were going to be the 7th
No,
seed.
I said
That's around where I have the
if we're
Clippers
talking about
at.
without Kawhi on, yes.
But they lost
As
their guy and
constructed,
were
yes.
still doing
Yes,
their
they
thing.
But they
lost
have to-
their
but the-
guy Kawhi, but if they lose their guy PG, it's
Well, that's-
done.
I
No,
said
but
right.
we're
Obvious,
saying,
though.
but
It's
they,
right.
but,
Yeah, and
but they
for
have to keep
Minnesota,
this up for the whole season, though.
Because that's the difference. Because if the Timberwolves lose Cat, they're done. The Clippers lost Kawhi. They're still not done, bro. That's the difference with this team, bro.
But the thing is
that's
this,
the
though.
big
They're
difference.
gonna be without Kawhi for the whole season. Do you think that level of play can be sustained throughout the whole season with Paul George?
1000%.
With Paul George
Well,
being
you're
your
a Paul,
man.
You're a Paul George standard, so that's obvious from
I
you.
think he can consistently put up.
We'll
24,
see who's
25.
left
in the
standing.
West, you think you
We'll
have
see-
him as a lock, right?
No, I didn't say that.
You don't have the
see
Clippers
who's-
as a lock in the West, but you're big on Paul George. That's kind of weird.
He's saying to make the playoffs.
Oh, to make playoffs, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
just to make the playoffs.
Yes.
We'll see who's left
see.
standing on the mantle.
I
Even
think
though
you're
I have an
underrating
idea
the Timberwolves, bro.
of who's.
I'm not. I
who's
just
gonna
had him in
be.
the play-in, bro.
No, you're underrated.
I
the
literally just had
Timberwolves.
him in the play-in.
Yeah, but we
Underrated.
think they can make the 7th to 8th seed.
I literally said there's. Y'all don't
That is
listen.
the
But
plan.
you, but
I literally
but
said
you
their
don't.
the plan.
I literally said their ceiling was the AFC. I swear to God, I just said that.
Oh, you did?
I literally just
Their
said
ceiling
that.
is an 8th seed.
Yes. You said playing. The 8th seed is the
No,
playing.
I said 7. Well, it's still the plan.
playing. You think 5. You're the only one that thinks they're
and
outside
I'm the
their
only one
play-in.
that's gonna be right. So, I'm fine.
They're saying I look different, but us three have the play-in. He has the 5th seed, so I'm just confused.
We're not differing too much.
Yeah, I'm confused how that works. But
I think I know. I just think you're being a little disrespectful.
you
to
have
that-
him
to that-
7th,
to-
I have him 8th.
No, but to that young core, big three, I don't know. I think it's a solid young core. I think
No, I think it's a really good young.
I'm
it's
honestly
nothing to be
I'm
disrespectful
on
about, but
par
they
with
haven't
him.
done
I
anything.
wouldn't be surprised if they're the 6th seed and they don't have to go through a plan. I wouldn't be surprised. Would you?
I don't know, bro. You I don't know, bro. You just said Portland might not make the playoffs, bro. Yours is
mean,
different from mine, bro. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. Let's
That's
go.
not
Very
that.
big.
That's
hold
not
on,
that
hold
bad of a
on.
take, though.
Just answer the question though.
What was the
Would you
question?
be surprised if they were the 6th seed and they didn't have to go through a play-in?
Yes.
Okay, you'd be surprised. Okay,
see.
smart answer.
Bare minimum.
Smart
I'd be
answer.
surprised. That's
'Cause
not
I
the
was about
bare
to
minimum.
catch
6 is
you.
not the bare minimum.
No, bare minimum for them to for their ceiling 6. That's the highest they can go. I think is 6.
You said 7.
No 7, but I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if they get 6 because you know what separates the 6th through the
play-in
4th
is-
seed
Let's say
is
5,
not
5,
that
6,
much.
7 last season all had the same record.
5 is crazy though.